Hi Flosstube, I'm Sarah, Cross Stitch Sarah, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel, and this channel is all about cross stitch. Welcome to those of you that have been here before, and anyone that's new, hello, welcome, and I hope you like what you see. And if you don't already subscribe, hopefully you'll consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. So this is going to be a video basically for my 2025 plans, stitchy plans. But before that, I'll just talk about a few of the sort of stats from my stitching over 2024. Firstly, I will just say, I was going to say apologies, but I'm not apologising for wearing my big, thick, fluffy pink hoodie, because for a week now, just under, later tonight will be a week, we haven't had any heating. So our boiler had been on the blink before that, and we'd managed to get it to a point where if we just left the heating on and used the thermostat to kind of bring it on and off, if you like, it was fine. And then we had a series of little power cuts last Saturday night, sort of off for a few seconds, on, back off again for maybe less than a minute really each time, but it was about 3 or 4 different incidents of that, and it just kicked the boiler out. And since then we haven't been able to get it back on. So we do have hot water, it's working perfectly fine for the hot water, but no heating. So we did buy which was discounted, direct from Dyson, one of their heaters that you can have as a fan in the summer or a heater in the winter, and it is really, really good. So if you're in a particular room and that heater's in there and it's on, it's actually not too bad. But then if you want to go to the bathroom or when you go to bed or get up in the morning, yeah, it's pretty chilly. Anyway, that's why I'm wearing this nice thick hoodie. Never mind about all that, let's talk stitchy. So I'll give you a little bit, I've got a little bit of a thing to talk about a fundraiser on behalf of somebody else, and then I'm going to talk about what happened this year with my stitching, give you a few numbers and bits and pieces, and then I'm going to go into the plans that I have for next year, starting with really this year, because some of those plans are sort of starting next week, and then at the very end of December, and then moving into January. There's quite a lot going on in January, quite a lot of new starts coming up, and then through whatever plans I've kind of got so far for next year, and we'll go from there. So first of all, I just want to talk to you a little bit about a fundraiser that Charly Feathers, Stitches with Charly Feathers. I'll put all her details in the show notes below. I'll put a link to her Ko-fi shop and her Instagram, and she's on Flosstube as well on YouTube, so you're to her YouTube too. She's running a fundraiser for her daughter's kindergarten. When we had Storm Dara, I'm going to put some pictures in of the damage, and then of what the fundraiser is all about as well. Basically, during Storm Dara, Charly's daughter's kindergarten was devastatingly really damaged, and it's going to be a huge job to repair and bring it back to how it was. And it's such a wonderful space for the children locally to Charly down in Cornwall, that anything that any of us can do to raise money to get that back up and running. It's a lot of money that needs to be raised. I'm not suggesting that you guys out there have just got a spare 10 grand lying around that you can pop in there. But if you have got, or feel that you can spare £10 to the fundraiser, Charly has teamed up with Yaz of Yasmin's Made with Love, who has very kindly designed a beautiful chart. I'll pop a picture in here. If you donate £10 as a minimum donation, you will get a copy of Yaz's beautiful chart as for free for your donation. You'll also be entered into a giveaway that I'm not sure of the dates of that and when it's going to be drawn and so on. You'd have to go and watch Charly's Flosstube to find out more about that. But there's lots of people have jumped on board. Swan Bay Fabrics, Letitia from Corrie's Little Shop, for example, who have donated things for a giveaway as well. You can donate less than £10. That's fine. You won't get the chart, but you can still do that. And obviously you can donate more than £10 if you feel that you can spare some money for a really, really good cause. So I will have popped all the pictures in about that. I'll pop a link down below to Charlie's Ko-fi shop and Flosstube, and then you can always message her if you have any questions whatsoever. She'll be delighted to help you if you're not sure about anything. But if you can spare a little bit of cash, I know it's a difficult time of year, but it would be much appreciated for Charlie's daughters and the other children in the area who have been, but now currently can't use the lovely little kindergarten. So thank you. Okay, let's move on. So I'll just talk a little bit about what I use for my stitching to sort of plan and keep track of. So every year for the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, I've used this cross stitch journal, which is by It's So Emma, which is a Laurie Holt product. And I use this little booklet to track new starts, really. I mean, I do track them in other places, but this has got quite an in-depth sort of project card per page type of thing. So when you first go in, it's got a list pages. So literally project 1 is, project 2 is, and so on and so on. I've just written 2025 there ready. This is my new one for next year. And then each, sorry, just threw my pen on the floor. Each page is a project card, basically. So project number at the top, and then it has pattern name, pattern designer, start date, finish date or end date, stitched on, stitch count, stitch size, floss, time tracker, and notes. I hope you can see that. The other thing I should have said at the beginning is we're in a different location, guys. Totally glossed over that. So the lighting's not so good here because I've got the electric light on. Our table used to be in the bay window, but we've moved it to the other end of the room. So this, I know I've got a different curtain. This curtain actually isn't covering a window. It's covering, well, it's not covering. It's a curtain at the bottom of our stairs. Our stairs come into our lounge, and it just helps to sort of keep the heat in, and especially at the moment because we haven't got a lot of heat. So yeah, so sorry, back to it. So yeah, I hope you can see the words on there. So I definitely use the name, designer, part, start date, end date. Where it says stitched on, stitch count, stitch size, I literally just use those 3 lines and I write what fabric I'm using. So the fabric designer or brand, if it's Swigot, if it's Woodchalk Permin, if it's Coffee Craft Fabrics, Swan Bay Fabrics, whatever it might be, and the count and the colourway. So if I'm stitching on Swigot 32 count linen, platinum linen, then that's where I sort of write that in. Then in the floss section, I usually just record, I don't write out all the flosses, I just record if it's the called for DMC or the called for threads in general, or if I've made any substitutions, I do write them in there. So if I've got all the DMC, but I've swapped out one red, I'll pop in my notes there that's what I've done. I don't really use the time tracker box. And then the notes section I use for things like if I'm doing a stitch along with friends or with my daughter-in-law, I might pop in there Sal with Bethany or Sal with Charlie and Yaz and Kim and all my friends, or any other notes that I just think are kind of relevant to that project. Sometimes there aren't any notes, there's nothing you know to put in there. So I use that for all my projects, and like I say, I have been using one of those for the last three odd years, I think. Well, this will be the 4th year because I've got 3 full booklets of those the journals done. The other thing I like, obviously very popular, is the Book of Days or similar, where you've got calendar pages and lots of other sections that you can write in various different things. You can sticker it all up. You know, lots of people have lots of different ones. Last year, Hayley at Stitching Cabin bought out the Stitcher's Almanac, and I bought a copy and I loved it. So I've got the new one for 2025. I bought that a couple of months ago after sort of hounding Hayley and said, you are going to do another one this for next year, right? And she's also got, I did notice when I went to buy this, that there's this one that's very similar that's also called the Knitter's Almanac. So if you're a knitter out there, or maybe even a crocheter, I don't know if it would work for that as well, but definitely go and check these out. I love these journals. So it's basically got all the calendar pages, the same as Book of Days and so on. So this is January. It's got some lovely little bits of artwork on every page. And I basically, this section here just had the word notes. So I've just covered it over with a little sticker and put whips. And then whatever I work on in January, I write down there in a list. And then each day I write in what I've stitched on. So if it's a paper pattern, I'll just say, oh, I've stitched on cat lovers, for example. If it's a PDF and I've got it in markup, RXP or Pattern Keeper, which are both similar digital marking apps, then I'll put a bit more information. I'll put what the project is, I'll put how many stitches I did that day and what percentage it's at the end of my stitching time for that day. And then as you can see, I usually pop in somewhere what the whip go numbers are for each month. I am doing whip go again in 2025. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. So you've got all the calendar pages. After the calendar page, you've also got for every month, the specific month. So in this case, January log. Now you can see I have stickered. I don't do lots of stickers, but on these pages I have put stickers on each of the log, opposite page to the log. Just some of my favourites. And on there, I just use that section for writing down how many starts I had, how many finishes I had, whether I completed my whip go numbers and how many projects overall I stitched on in that month. And that's what I pop in there each month. So you have that for every month with a little bit different artwork, but basically the layout is exactly the same. So after December, the next pages are 2025 stitching goals. Obviously you can pop down all your plans in there. Then there's lots of pages. Monthly goals, which I quite like this one. This is monthly goals by quarters. So I thought that was quite a good section. There's not a lot filled in here yet, obviously, because it's not 2025 yet. There is an annual tracker. Then there is a year at a glance. So it's got larger boxes with each of the months in, and you can see there that I have written in some of my plans. Again, I'll go through those properly with you in a moment. There's a progress report pages, whip roll call, so you could write down your list of all your whips or just your 2025 whips. The reason I still use the journal as well that I showed you before is because obviously these pages are just well, they've got little dots, not lines, but there's less room there for all the project information. So I like the journal because it's there at a glance. I can see what fabric I used, what threads I've used, and so on. But then it is nice to have kind of one long list that you can kind of just scan down and see, or when did I start that, without having to get out the journal and flick through the pages or so on. So, you know, for me, it works to have both of these kind of calendars, journals, whatever you want to call them. Then there's a new starts register, which I like the way that's laid out into months. So again, you'll be able to pop in there that I'll be able to pop in there that I've started, you know, however many things in January, we'll see. And then again, at a glance, you can say, oh, I had 5 new starts in January. Oh, I only had 1 new start in April, or, you know, and so on. So that's quite a good, nice little section. I like that. Accomplishments and finishes. So similar layout, or same layout really. But again, you can just pop in there. Oh, I finished whatever you might have finished. I mean, there might be less finishes next year than this year, but hey ho. And then again, at a glance, you can see, oh, I finished 10 things in January, which is not going to happen for me. It's more like 10 new starts. Then there's a wish list, waiting in the wings if you've got things that you've got kitted up that you want to start. A few other pages. And then there's quite a few in this year's blank pages. When I say blank, they've got a little bit of artwork on and they have got the journal style dots on. But blank for whatever you want to do. So you can really customize your calendar, your almanac. You can really use it for what you want to use it for. So the first one I've used mine for is my whip go board. So this is my whip go for 2025. I'm going to go through it properly with you in a bit as well, because I'm going to show you some projects that are coming up. But basically last year, we're still in 2024. This year, I did whip go, and it was my daughter-in-law Bethany's idea to put on my 12 oldest whips twice each onto the board, and then obviously square 13 is a free space. And then at least those whips that were probably sitting there not getting any work done on would get some work done on throughout the year. Now, I set my goal the same. For every number that's called, I work on it for 2 weekday evenings and 1 weekend day. So that can be a real mix of a couple of hours one evening, 4 hours another evening, all day Saturday or Sunday, or half a day. Depends what's going on. I don't sort of make plans and say, oh, I can't do that, I've got to do my whip go, you know. So it does vary a little bit, but basically it gets quite a good chunk of stitching on each thing. And it worked brilliantly. So I have done it again this year. They're not my 12 oldest whips. They're just whips that I've picked out that I think have been neglected. Some haven't been worked on at all this year. So moving forward, I want to get those sort of worked on. So I've popped those on there. When in a little while, I'll get to that and I'll show you exactly what my plans are, what I've got on that board. Okay. So here's a few stats for you. Now, I am going to refer to my notes so I don't get it wrong. Just to say, at the beginning of the year, Sarah, the lovely Sarah and the lovely Sally, so Sew Me Sarah and Flossie Sews and Grows Sally, decided that as they were going to be 50 in 2024, that they were going to do 50 new starts. And they did the fun, #fun for 50 Sal. Now, I thought, wow, that's I was 50 in 2023 and I didn't do that, and I thought, oh, that's a bit much, isn't it? 50 starts in a year. They're going to have whips coming out of their ears. Well, I'm sure they'll finish a few things, but still, that's an awful lot. Here we are. I started in 2024 a total of 55 things. So it just goes to show you know, I didn't do the sale with them, but I could have done. So 55 total new starts in 2024. 5 of those were UFO'd for varying reasons. Not feeling it, not feeling the fabric, not feeling the thread, whatever it might be. They're gone, they're done. That's it. I'm not going to keep stitching on something that doesn't bring me joy. So they're gone. So that brings me down to 50. So even if you said I'd never even started those, I've still done 50 new starts. Of those 50, I finished 29, which is pretty good. I also finished 7 other projects that were whips from previous years. One was from had been started in 2022, and 6 were from 2023. So that is a total of 36 finishes in 2024. So I'm pretty okay with that. Going into 2025, those of you that are keeping up and have maybe done a little bit of maths will know that I am going into 2025 with 32 whips. 32 works in progress. Now that is going to climb significantly. Well, it is next week and it isn't. I'm going to tell you about my New Year's Eve plans and my hairs that I have mentioned once before that I'm going to be starting. And I am going to try and get a start on each one on and do a kind of 12, is it 12 in 12 that people do? So they start 12 new projects on New Year's Eve. But I am classing the hairs as one whip because once I've got a little start on them all on New Year's Eve, they will then only be worked on for 1 a month. So I'm not calling them 12 starts. I know you might say, well, that's a bit of a get out. Comment if if you think I'm fooling myself, but I'm not calling them 12 starts. I'm just not doing it. It's 1. So that 32 whips includes that as 1 whip. My oldest whip is from 2020. Yeah, October 2020, so that's 4 and a bit years old. I've got 1 whip from 2021, 2 from 2022, 7 from 2023, and then the remaining, which is 21, is from 2024. Yeah, quite a lot. But I'm happy. I don't feel stressed about it. I don't feel overwhelmed. My whips are my whips. I'm going to start what I want to start. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't answer to anybody. So I'm more than happy with that. So I'm really pleased with those figures. I'm less pleased, I guess, with the amount of starts, but 36 finishes throughout the year. And some of those have been fully finished as well. So, I feel like I've done okay. So, plans. As I just briefly mentioned, the hairs. So on New Year's Eve, I'm planning to do a little bit of a 12 in 12. I might not start at 12, finish at 12. I'm just going to try and get a little start at least on all 12 of the hairs that I'm going to do for the year. So I'm planning on stitching one hair, and the hairs are by Wanderling Stitches, and I'm going to do one per month. Now they're not very big, but they're still, you know, there's still going to be 12 of them. So if I can get a tiny little start on each one, then I'm ready for the beginning of each month moving forward. So I've got my hairs. I'll show you the cover photos in a sec. I have them all stored. I have 2 of these gorgeous multi-pocket cases by Canny Little Fox. I messaged her and asked her if she'd got any fabric with hairs on, and this is the one she had. I think there was another one as well, and this is the one I chose, and she made me 2 of these. I just messaged her and asked her if she could make some multi-pockets. So it's the ones with sort of pages, and you can fit 6 projects in each. So absolutely perfect. 2 folders for the 12 projects. I'm going to stitch them all on good old vintage country mocha. This is by Zweigart. It's 32 count, and it's a Murano even weave. So this is a fat quarter. Okay, and this will get 6 hairs on it. Well, I'm going to cut the fabric up. I'm not going to do it on one large piece. I'm going to do them all individually, but 6 pieces that will cut into 6 pieces, and then I've got another piece that I'll cut into 6 pieces, and well, I'll have the 12. I also commissioned or asked Charlie to make me a needle minder for this. And this, I just said I needed a hair. She knows the Wanderling Stitches designs. She stitched one herself, and I've stitched one previously. So I said that what I was doing, and could she make me a needle minder, and this is what she designed. So it's absolutely perfect. I love it. And these are the hairs that I've chosen. So Wanderling Stitches, I'll pop a link below to her website. She has lots of different hair designs, and there's various other little designs on there as well. Do go and have a look. There are some really pretty little things. They're not huge, so these will turn out to be about 3 inches wide by 5 inches high. So they should be achievable per month. Some of them have got months on and some haven't, but it might not correlate to what I'm doing. These are the one. This is the order that I'm going to do them in. Actually, the first one is January, and I am doing it in January, but generally that might not be the case. So the first one I'm going to do is Snow Hair in January. February, Hair and Snowdrops. I've just tried to pick ones that I think kind of are relevant for the month a little bit. March, Hair and Daffodils. April, Hair and Bleeding Hearts. So pretty. May, Hair and Blossom. June, Hair and Daisies. July. Hair and Honeybees. Is that what it says? Yeah. Excuse me. August, Hair and Sunflowers. Now that really does look lovely on the blue fabric, and at first I was going to do them all on different fabrics, and I started going through my stash and I just thought, this is ridiculous. I just can't pick a separate piece of fabric for each one, but I still think they'll all look good on Vintage Country Mocha, so I'm happy with that. August, that was, wasn't it? Yeah. September is Hair and Thistles. October, Hair and Pumpkins. November, Hair and Acorns. I love the colours in that. autumn is my favourite season, so that's a really autumnal colour palette for me. I really like that. And then December is Hair and Mistletoe. So that's the plan. Hopefully it will go according to plan. If any of you out there have got any of the hair patterns, you don't have to have all 12. And there are others. It isn't that she just has 12. There are more. Then, and you want to join me, then just let me know. Let's stitch along. It's, you know, if you're just going to jump in on one month because you like the one with daisies or you like the one with the sunflowers, then, you know, do let me know. Comment below or send me a message. My email will be below as well, whatever you like. And it'd be great if anybody wanted to join me. So that's the start, not starts, because it's one, remember, for that I'm going to do on New Year's Eve on the 31st, and then moving forward I will aim to stitch and finish each hair for each month as we go along. Okay, so then it's January. So on January the 1st I have 2 or 3 new starts planned. It'll probably be 2, and then the third one will probably roll over to the second maybe, or something like that. The first one is the Historical Sampler Company Little Owl Patchwork Sampler Stitch Along. Now, Historical Sampler Company have very kindly gifted me this kit, along with, at the time they were selling sort of goodie boxes that went along with them, gift boxes. And I did show them in a previous video that came with scissors, needle minder, little project bag, sweet treat, little notepad, and little nudge hoop, loads and loads of lovely little goodies. You can't get the gift box now, but a lot of the products that were in it are actually available on Historical Sampler Company's website separately if you fancy the green stalk scissors, for example, or the owl needle minder and so on. But they gifted me this kit. You could choose between 32 count linen or 16 count Ada, and I chose the Ada. I don't know if you'll be able to see. If I fold it, it might be a bit. That's kind of a good colour. It's a beige-y colour. There's going to be a lot of white stitches, I believe, in it. So you would need to choose a fabric if you weren't using the called for or their fabric that white stitches would show up on. So probably a little bit darker than that, to be honest. Yeah, definitely darker than that. It's a really lovely neutral. So I've got my little one stitch in the middle there that I've marked the centre. It usually starts in the centre. It's 4 parts. So we start in the centre and then we move, well, you can do it, but you move up. This is usually part 1, 2, 3, 4. The charts will come as PDFs to your email inbox. So you can still buy the kit. You can still go over to the website. I'll pop a link below, buy the kit, and then the charts will arrive on the 1st of January. That will be the first part, and then every 2 weeks the other parts will follow on. I've got my threads sorted. I popped them off the card. I prefer to use sort of floss drops or baggies, so they're all in there. There's some really gorgeous thread colours, very wintry. And I've got my lovely needle minder that came in the gift box ready as well. So that will definitely be a start on the 1st. So thank you very much, Historical Sampler Company, again for gifting that to me. I'm really looking forward to it. And if you're doing it too, then let me know. Pop a comment down, send me a message. Say, yeah, I'm joining that sale. And if you're not and you're considering it, the sneak peeks, I'll pop some pictures up here. The sneak peeks make it look really, really lovely. I'm really looking forward to getting started on that. So that's that. Also then on the 1st is, okay, let me grab this. Stitching Cabin, Hayley, who is the Stitching Armagnac designer, is doing a couple. Well, she's got a couple of charts that are coming out on the 1st of January. So one of them is the Great Outdoors, and there's a mock-up sort of picture that she's got. I'll pop it here. And then there's also a nautical one is it called Coastal something? Sorry, I'll pop a picture and details up here. I'm going to start the Great Outdoors one. Now, I do have them both, but I'm not going to start them both on the first. The chart, again, is a PDF that will arrive in your email inbox, and it's once a month. I'm doing the Great Outdoors one. These are the gorgeous threads, greens and browns, but they're really lovely, along with one Krynic. Now, this Krynic is called Cord, which I'd never heard of before. I don't know if you'll be able to see that really, but it is a really nice gold. I don't think it's that, it's as sort of, it seems definitely thinner and smoother than the regular Krynic braid, but we'll see. I don't mind Krynic. I know all of you out there that are going, what? I don't mind it. I just keep the length short, and it doesn't lie flat very much, and it's, you know, it can be a bit of a thing to wrangle, but I don't mind it. I don't swap it out for, I know a lot of people use Petite Treasure braid and prefer that. I also know there's a DMC metallic called Diamant, I think it's called, which a lot of people use, but I don't mind it. So I'm going to stitch mine on another neutral. Again, not really showing this, it's darker than that. This is Witchelt or Permin linen, 32 count, and it's in beautiful beige. I did Stitching Cabins Autumn Walks band sampler. That would have been 22 to 23 stitch along, and I loved that. Like I say, autumn is my favourite season. It was all autumnal colours. Again, a little bit of Krynic. And I did that on this same fabric on the beautiful beige. So, and I just thought, actually, you know, those colours, those threads will look nice on it. Well, I hope they will, if I can wrangle this without dropping it. So yeah, hopefully that'll be perfect. So yeah, another one I'm looking forward to starting. So that's going to be a band sampler as well. So it'll be kind of like a strip every month. So yeah, and they are doable within the month. Like I say, I kept up with the autumn band sampler when that was when I did that stitch along. But yeah, if anybody's out there that's doing that as well, then please, you know, let me know and join in as well. The other thing that I want to start, which will probably be, like I say, I'll probably do it on the 2nd now, is Boulder Quinn Birdies is Modern Folk Embroideries 2025 stitch along. Now, I did buy the chart, and I'm not doing the full stitch along at the moment, but when you buy it, it comes with a bonus chart. Now, the bonus chart doesn't have like a mock-up photo, and I have kindly asked Lizzie, so if she's said yes, she's stitched it, so I'll be popping her picture up here if I've had permission. And she stitched the bonus chart in her favourite colour, which, as you can see, hopefully, is bright orange. So she inspired me to do the same, but in my favourite colour, which, if you've been here before, you know, is pink. So I'm going to do mine on this pink fabric, which is a Coffee Crafts fabric. It has got some mottling. That's a really bad. It's nothing like that. It's much pinker, and it's got sort of grey bits in it. And then I've got these bright pink threads, which are also actually from Coffee Craft Fabrics. So some years ago now, at one of the retreats, we were given a little goodie bag, and one of the things that was in it was a thread from Coffee Craft Fabrics, and it was this pink, and I loved it. And while I was still there, I immediately messaged her and said, have you got any more of that pink? I need it in my life. And she'd got however many more I've got there, 3 more. So I just said, oh, I'll have them all. So I bought them all. She posted them out to me. So I'm going to do my version of the Boulder Quinn Birdies bonus chart in bright pink. So yeah, looking forward to that too. Then in January, it's Charly Feathers, Stitches with Charly Feathers' birthday. It's a special birthday. I'll not say any more than that. And she has a few new starts planned to celebrate her birthday, and, you know, probably just because why not? So I'm going to join her on one of those. Now, I don't have a physical, I haven't been to work, so I haven't got a printer at home. I haven't printed out a cover copy and I'll pop it up here. It's Barbara Anna Designs, and it's Miss Teapot. So I haven't decided on fabric yet, and I haven't got out the threads and stuff, but I'm going to join Charlie stitching that, starting it on her birthday. My birthday is also in January. Rubbish to have a birthday in January, just saying, but it is. So for my birthday, I'm going to start my Mirabilia that I have showed you before, but I said I was going to do it. And here it is. This is Mirabilia Pretty to Think So. Now, I absolutely love this and can't wait to start it. So I have got all the DMC. They're over there, I didn't bring them over. It also calls for 1 Karen water lilies. And this is in number 277 Hot Peppers. So you can see it's got sort of a lot of pink, bit of purple, a little bit of yellowy gold. Then I did buy the bead pack, because it does have some beads. This pack I got from Arts and Designs, I think. But they do a lot of the bead packs for the Mirabilias. And I got the called for fabric, which is a Permin linen. Does it tell me the colour? Which I did get from Arts and Designs because it's got a sticker on the back, so maybe I didn't get the beads from there. Prairie Grain is the colour. Oh, that's pretty good actually. And that is the called for fabric. 32 count. And I really like it. I think it looks perfect. So that's all ready to go. So my birthday is the 24th of January. So that's when I'll be starting that. Again, I commissioned Charlie to make me a matching needle minder, and she didn't disappoint. Gorgeous flowers, ready for that. Okay, so they're all the planned. Have I gone through them all? Yep, they're all the planned new starts for January. Obviously, you know, things crop up. You never know what might happen, so we'll see. I have a couple of kind of throughout the year plans as well. So Bethany and I are going to do a stitch along starting on her birthday, which is not till July. Why am I talking about it now? Because both have a framework that we want to kind of get in place, and then we can do it as a stitch along after that. So I'm talking about the Greenhouse of Oddities, which is this one, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I want to get this kind of the black frame mostly, at least, you know, kind of in place, so that then we can do the fun stuff together. But Bethany is doing, and I'll pop a picture in here because I don't have a picture, the Deadly Aquarium. So both of these have been sales. They're both by Lola Crow. They've ended now, but you can buy the whole patterns. So she has the Deadly Aquarium, I have the Greenhouse of Oddities, and we just thought we do a little stitch along for that. So that's going to be started at some point to get the frame going, and then an actual stitch along later in the year. I'm also going to do seasonal little pillows. So on the first day of spring and the first day of summer and the first day of autumn, first day of winter, I will have a little start of the little pillows by Flossabilities. So I'll pop a link below again to Lauren's Etsy shop. You can also get these charts in hard copy from the lovely Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery. So again, I'll pop another link down there. I'll also pop a link to Talking Dog Stitchery, that if you go to her store via that link, it's an affiliate link, and it will give me a tiny little bit of commission if you went on to make a purchase through that link. If you do that, you can also use the code Sarah5 and you'll get 5% off your shop. So why not? So these are the little pillows. This is spring. Now I haven't decided on any fabrics or threads yet, and I've got a little bit of time to think about that. This is summer. Autumn. And winter. Now there are others of these as well, little pillows. There's a nautical one, there's a Christmas one, there's an Easter one. So definitely go and check out Flossabilities and see what else she's got. Some lovely things, but they're my little seasonal plans for next year as well. And then the last plan really for next year is Whip Go. So I completed Whip Go this year. I made one change. So I had a project that I've since, well, I've UFO'd it, but Bethany's going to take it on and stitch it for me. I'd started it, but it was a full coverage and it's just not my thing. So she's going to at some point finish that for me. There's no sort of time plan on that. I did say maybe for my 60th birthday. I mean, she's got, well, just over 8 years. So, so I swapped that out and put another project in for the second time that was called. And I did miss one call for one project that it was called. And I was just like, I just don't want to stitch on this. So I just didn't. But other than that, I completed all the goals that I'd set myself and all the numbers, and I was really pleased. So next year, I briefly showed you my Whip Go board in my planner. So let me show you that properly now. So I basically made a list of the projects that I wanted to go on the board. There they are. And then I have put them all on the board twice, leaving the free space as a free space. There we go. Turn that around a little bit. Let me bring it in so you can see. So yeah, I've just written them on the board. And then as I said before, 2 weekday evenings and 1 weekend day on those. And you'll be able to see there that the January numbers that were called, I do them in the order that they're called. So that they were called as number 20 and number 11. So I stitch on the 20 number before the 11. I know that seems odd because it's backwards, but that's how they were called out, how they came out in the draw for by Jessie Marie Does Stuff, who is the instigator of Whip Go. So that's how I'm going to do mine. So called for number 20 is Modern Folk Embroidery Big Stitch Big Tree, which is this. And this was the exclusive chart that Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery designed for Big Stitch, which was a retreat in the summer. And as you can see, Jacob was at Big Stitch, so I did ask him, and he very kindly, if it will focus, signed my copy of the chart. So that's number 20. And I'm stitching mine on, I think it's a fabric from Northumberland Sampler House, Sandstone. And I'm using let me put this behind it. There we go. I'm using a Valdani red stranded cotton thread, which is my favourite red by Valdani, and it's called Proud Turkey. Let's see. So yeah, so that was the start that I made at Big Stitch in July. That's all I got done. So that's up first. And then number 11 is another Modern Folk Embroidery by Jacob, and this is a sampler garden. It's so pretty. Now for this one, I'm using the called for threads, of which there are only 4, I think. Yep, 4. 3 blues and a brown. And I'm stitching mine on, I was going to say it's 32 count platinum. It might be platinum, but it's not linen, it's even weave. And that was my progress from when I started that, not a lot. And that is the second Whip Go number 11. So they will get their allotted times in January, as well as everything else, hopefully. Just need a few more hours in the day. So I think the only other thing to say is the highlights that I've had this year, stitchy related, I've been to lots of retreats this year. I'm not going on to so many next year, or there's not so many planned anyway. Met lots of lovely people. If you do ever fancy going to a retreat and you can go and you're not sure and you'd be on your own, or just go, they're so fantastic. Everyone is so lovely, so welcoming. I've been to some in the past on my own quite happily, travelled to wherever it is, walked in the room, no problem, never felt like oh gosh, now what do I do? Where am I going to sit? People just come up to you, chat to you straight away. It's lovely. So yeah, that'll probably be one of the highlights really, that I've just had lots of retreats this year, and I've met some, just like I say, some lovely people. So that's it. I think that's 2025 plans. Watch this space to see how it goes, I guess, and watch my whip count rise at least in January, and then yeah, we'll see what the rest of the year brings. I am going to do a regular Flosstube video probably next week, which will be when it would come round, and that will show my December's kind of progress and wrap everything up for December. I'm not going to do a whip parade. It is my 1 year anniversary on Flosstube in February, so I'm going to do a whip parade then. When I checked my subscriber numbers for YouTube today, it was 933, I think. I would really love it if by February, and by my whip parade and my 1 year anniversary, that I'd reached 1,000 subscribers. So if you are watching this and you have liked it, but you're not a subscriber, I would really love it if you'd consider subscribing, just to boost that number up to the magic 1,000. I'll probably do a nice little giveaway and bits and pieces as well. So it would be great if you felt you could do that. And that's it. The only other video I'm going to do is a review video of the Historical Sampler Company Advent calendar that I was kindly gifted by Historical Sampler Company for Advent. It was fantastic. I won't talk a lot about it here because I am going to do a separate video. So yeah, look out for those. And until then, happy stitching.